I'm Jim.
And I'm Frank.
And I'm Jerry.
And this is the JFJ Conspiracy Podcast, where the shop talk is rock. Episode 111, right?
Woo! Man. Yes, sir. Yeah.
I was thrown off.
Yeah.
We've been going so long, I don't even count anymore.
I know it.
I have first thing after the date on my notebook has the episode count.
Beautiful.
So I'm relatively caught up.
Someone's keeping track. That's good. I last week or so was the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and boy, there was a lot of hubbub this year about it because
I got to take some deep breaths.
Yeah, some real actual rock bands were left out.
Oh, you're kidding?
No,
you're not kidding there. I thought you meant I thought you meant actual rock bands were put in.
Oh, not this year. But, Willie Nelson was put in, and nothing against Willie, but
no, nothing against Willie, not at all.
The only thing rock and roll about him is the weed. So
yeah, that's it, and the long hair,
yeah. But anyways, Jim, what are your thoughts on that? On the nominees that are actually going to be in, and the ones that were left out again?
I was going to make a little list actually, and I hesitate to go down this road because it's going to be there's Cranky Jim crying about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I'm not. Right. When I look at the list of all the nominees, I think let them all in.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I don't have a problem with the Spinners being in. I don't have a problem with Missy Elliott being in or Kate Bush. I like all those people. But the people that I consider sort of the most rock and roll, Iron Maiden did not get in.
Snubbed again.
Joy Division / New Order, not in. White Stripes, not in. To me, I don't know if I want to live in a world where when it comes to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Missy
I agree.
Or Kate Bush get in before Iron Maiden.
Yeah. Over Maiden. That's all you got to know.
And again, and my thing is, I think every nominee was worthy to be in.
Sure.
Yep.
Well, like I said,
but how do you not let Iron Maiden in versus
my two?
I don't know.
Is Foreigner and Ted Nugent.
They should be.
Well, heck yeah.
Okay.
I'll put Foreigner.
Nugent will never get in.
No, he won't. Nope.
Of course, they said the same thing about Kiss.
Right. It seems like once they complain and they're loud enough about it,
they get backed up 10 years.
Get in there.
Yeah.
Somehow. Well, sometimes, but Kiss whined about it, and then when they finally did get inducted, it was, we're never going to get in. Screw it. We don't need them. And they got in. Just like you said, let them all in because they're all eventually going to be there.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Like I said last year about this time, just call it the Music Hall of Fame. Don't put a label on it being the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Because I like that.
So here's my thing. Here's my thing. Rock and roll is an extremely broad term.
Yes, it is.
Right. So people get upset about, you see hip hop artists get in and people get like, well, they're not rock and roll. But like the earliest rap was all based on rock and roll licks.
I'll take NWA's debut over
a
lot of stuff.
Funk.
That's badass album.
Funk is a mix of rock, soul, jazz, R&B, right? It's like you take that and stick it in a blender kind of thing.
Well,
how many times
Willie Nelson getting in is a little odd to me because I don't. Again, this is like going down the Dolly Parton thing, and they said,
"Thank you." I was just going to say
when you follow it back far enough, like when you get to the earliest, original Hank Williams, was he you could draw probably a direct line from Hank Williams to Elvis to the Beatles to,
let
pick
me
your band, right? But
throw this spin on it, Jim. And I'm going off of AOR radio. How many times has the Spinners been on KLOS? How many times has Willie Nelson been on KMET? How many times has Missy Elliott been on KNAC?
Okay,
I had Rubber Band Man on a 45.
Okay,
right, so but again, it's an extremely broad term.
But the average listener who's listening to those radio stations is not
going to hear them.
doesn't even know who Missy Elliott is because they're pigeonholed into rock and roll, heavy metal, whatever.
They are. Yep.
And so that's where the uproar comes from.
Oh, sure. That's where the uproar comes from. Like I'm saying, I don't have a problem with any of those groups, right? Duran got in last year, and there's people who would say, like, well, they're not rock and roll. They're absolutely a rock and roll band. It's not your brand of rock and roll, but they're a rock and roll band. So
I would debate that.
Some of the best nominees who I think fit the term rock and roll better than anybody else got left off.
Yeah.
Right. Not getting in. And again, I don't have any problem with anybody who is getting in.
Nope.
But
disclaimer,
when I look at the list, I thought, like, well, you could let them all in.
Well,
I don't know how you keep Maiden out.
That's why I say take the term rock and roll off of it, and that'll shut everybody up. Because now
absolutely, I like that. I like that.
Music Hall of Fame.
And you can have a rock and roll hall
wing. Have a wing. Yeah.
And
disco wing, funk wing.
I would
country
be more
wing.
To go visit that than say, oh, I'm so excited. I'm going to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Hey, look, it's Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we'll revisit this again next year.
Again,
right. You know.
Well, I mean, Dolly's a pop singer.
Right.
Right. She did just as much pop as she did country. I don't know. So is pop a form of rock? Sure.
Yeah. Okay. My other topic.
Next year, folks, on Conspiracy Net. Yeah, we'll be having the same conversation. Yes.
That one didn't sit well with Frank. So.
No. I have in
well,
my
a
mind.
A lot doesn't.
Yeah.
But
I know.
on that, I concur 100%.
Yeah. Aerosmith finally announced their final tour. Peace out.
Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord.
But there's no Joey Kramer.
Joey Kramer.
Drums. So
come up with the logo he did.
Why is Joey not playing?
Well, there's several reasons. One, a couple years ago, he sued the band because they held him back. They said he was not fit to play. He had an injury, so he sat out. This last go round, his wife has just passed away from COVID or other medical issues, and he didn't want to go on the road. But then when they came up with this farewell tour, he says, "I'm in," and they said, "No, we're okay. We got our drum tech. He's doing fine."
That ain't right.
No, he's a founding member.
Right.
He was there before.
He created the logo.
Exactly. So are you willing to pay a premium to see again? Now, my son Dominic made the best argument for this. 4 out of 5 of the original members of a 70s rock band are going to be on tour. What other rock band can you say has that at these days? Few.
Few.
Right?
Yeah.
So
none.
You have your drummer, and even though I think Joey is, to me, he is the heart of the band. His drum beats were phenomenal. It's just the way he played behind the kit, something else.
Yeah.
But can it not be done by somebody else?
Of course it can.
Well, yeah,
sure.
But will you pay a premium price to see 75-year-old Steven Tyler and 70-year-old Joe Perry and Brad Whitford? It's a tough one. What about you, Jerry?
Not at all. Not at all. I don't want to sound Aerosmith hating. I picked a couple of their albums for some of our, neat ones. But the days of me going and see a final, etc. And I think you nailed it, Frank, is the price tag.
Yeah.
They'll
be playing at the Forum, by the way, here in LA.
Like you said, mid-70s. They got to be pushing. For sure, they're all 70, right?
Yeah. Yes. I know for a fact Steven's 75. I think he is the oldest.
Lord.
Oldest in the group, though, by a couple of years on everybody, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think about as far as I would go for all these bands doing this. If they came out with a live album, I lay some ducats on that. Okay. But I'm not going to go somewhere and, Lord knows what a T-shirt costs these days. $100. A program. I will say this. I will caveat this. I saw Paul McCartney 4 years ago in Vegas, and it was huge. It was fantastic. So do I compare them? You know, if we go to see Aerosmith on their final, is it going to be great? You know, McCartney was fantastic.
It's the
So
experience.
yeah, yeah.
What
So
you
I
put
mean,
into it.
to
They're
each
only
his
as
own.
good.
Yeah, there's people out there
Is
that are
there
going to
backing
pay for the
tracks?
whole. They're going to.
They're only as good as the backing tracks, man.
Yeah.
But they're going to pay the VIP. You're going to have people
Right.
out there that do the backstage, do the signing, do the VIP. So I mean, it is what it is, guys. That's the way it is these days. That's the way it's going these days. You know, what's the big argument I heard? Grand Funk Railroad.
Yeah.
Who's homeboy that wrote all the songs and sang them? He's not even in it.
No, and he's
And
saying
so
they're
I mean,
not even being sincere about it. That's what bothers him.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I'm kind of like you guys. I want some original members in there. I want to see, you know, they created it back when. I want to see it,
Right.
but I would not shell ducats on Aerosmith. Absolutely not. So
okay, Jim, what are your thoughts?
That's just me.
I may be the dissenting voice. I would, and cost will be the deciding factor.
Yep.
Right? But they're like kind of the one band I haven't seen that I would, of one of those original kind of 70s bands that I fell in love with that I haven't seen yet. So I'm definitely going to look at getting some tickets if it's outrageous. I already know I'm flying solo because I talked to Gail about it. She's like, yeah, no
for her, huh?
Big, yeah.
You can
let us
sell
know,
plasma.
Let us know. Yeah.
Plasma will get you a few bucks. There's all kinds of ways for you to make a little money, so you can afford
yeah.
Asking. But you know, Joe Perry just played a few weeks ago here at a small club in LA, and the cheapest ticket I could find was $125. And that's the going rate these days for a club. So can you imagine what the forum's going to be? And
if you want to sit up front,
and doing.
No, I don't need to sit up front.
Doing research now. Paul McCartney said it. Taylor Swift said it. They are the ones who set the ticket prices, not Ticketmaster. They admitted, no, we dictate how much the front row seats are going to be all the way up because that's their top dollar. That's their margin that, you know.
Yeah.
So when people are complaining about all the fees on top of it, well, Ticketmaster's got to stay in business too. I think the fees are ridiculous the way they do it, but remember, it's the artist who's setting the price. So don't buy, you know, second hand tickets. You got to go directly.
If I can buy them directly and I can do it for roughly $100, then I'm probably in. Other than that, and I expect to be sitting nowhere close.
No, but you know, again, you're going for the experience at this point.
I'm going for the experience of seeing Aerosmith.
Yep.
You know,
and half the set list I probably won't even like, but
well, like you said, you're going to play all their radio hits, you know, and they may do their deep cuts if they remember how to play them. But again, if they've practiced them according to the tapes, it'll sound great. So
we'll see.
Yep. All right. What's in Jim's fridge?
Oh.
Well, I know this is a favor of both of you guys.
Absolutely. All right.
Cheap Trick live at Budokan. Yes. And what makes it so great?
It's signed by
Mr. Robin Zander.
Oh, that's sweet.
Ooh.
That's great.
Well done.
He's got it. He's got it down to an R and a Z.
That's all you need.
Well, yeah. Who else has that? Yeah.
I don't know. I'm wondering what his early signatures look like, but now he's just down to R and Z. But pretty good. It's got the original booklet in it too, and
wow,
nice clean copy and signed by Mr. Robin Zander himself.
Well done.
Excellent.
Well done.
Vinyl's so cool. You got to keep it on ice.
That's right. Got to keep it cool.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That was my first expedition into Cheap Trick. Yep.
Mine was, I think, in color, and it was after I saw them open up for Kiss, and then in color ran and got Budokan after that, and went backwards, of course, you know.
Yeah.
But what a great band. And
Yep.
the longevity of them.
Yep.
And
Speaking of, yeah.
now I've seen them not too long ago, and they're playing live, and
Yeah.
they jam and they play. And Robin Zander does have a great voice, and you can hear it crack. And he doesn't hit those high notes like he used to, but you know what? He sounds
Who
great.
does? Yeah.
He's got all his heart in that. That is one
Yeah.
thing.
He was born to do what he does. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I believe they're going to be coming through LA shortly.
I
So I
think I
think
saw that.
Joan Jett opening up.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
I think
Nice package there.
if I'm remembering correctly, and who knows if
Cool.
I am.
Yeah. We'll
But
find out.
that would be a good show.
Yes, it would. And it seems like every band that's ever played with Cheap Trick, whether they've opened or whether they've supported, has nothing but good things to say about them. You don't hear any BS in politics, and you can't only have this much of the stage, and you can't do this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
I want to say way back in the day, Cheap Trick may have opened for the Runaways.
Could be.
Wow.
Could be. I mean, I never
A lot of
knew-
history there.
I never knew Rick Nielsen was as old as he was, because he was doing 50s,
Oh yeah,
bebop music and whatnot when he, it's
he was
amazing.
playing back in the 60s,
Yeah.
long before Cheap Trick was formed. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Something else. But he's been playing forever, that's for sure.
And still a character.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Hey, now, Jerry.
Yes, sir. Or should
Yes,
I say Yezzer?
Yezzer, you should. I like that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Jim and Frank. The name of the band is Yezzer. As if Jim and Frank were to ask me, folks out in Conspiracy Land, do you like this band? I'd be like, Yezzer. It's Yezzer out of Louisville, Kentucky. The name of the album is Page of Wands. And the song Frank's going to spin is Christy Martin, that boxing female person. And their little short intro is bass-driven jam rock delivered from 3 individuals out of Louisville, Kentucky. So let me get to it. Short bio. Yezzer started during COVID with gigs not being an option. We played some loud, heavy, mathy rock and roll that was probably more fun to perform than it was to listen to. As time went on, we really honed in on our sound that mixed the bass guitars better, a little more psychedelic and a lot more chill to make something like Christy Martin. We've got Brian Leonard on bass guitar. We got Nick Stinnett, and thank you very much, Nick, for getting back to us a couple times. Thank you so much, Nick Stinnett. Drums. Joe Boyer on bass guitar. Instagram, Yezzer Band. Facebook, Yezzer. They're on Bandcamp, Apple Music, and out of Louisville, Kentucky, the band Yezzer with Christy Martin.
I keep my hands up as my old love. I'll be tried and true, right together. Sands look back at us. Love was never the answer to our love. Then you shot
right there is Yezzer with
Yezzer.
and some bass heavy music. And like Jerry was saying, minute 59 of that. What'd you think, Jim?
Well, obviously I love the brevity, but it's so unique.
Yes.
I thought it was well recorded, well mixed. I liked it.
I like the riff. The whole
Yeah.
bit. Yeah, just
And I
good
like
stuff.
the I like I like the bass tone.
yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Both of them. Yeah.
All right. And I found them on Bandcamp.
Yeah, folks, on Conspiracy Land. Yezzer, Bandcamp. Louisville, Kentucky. Yep.
They've got some other stuff out too, don't they, Jim?
They have a lot of stuff out. There's like 4 or 5 things I saw from like 21. I think they go back as far as 21, probably further. Forgive me.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have quite a few things out there, folks, on Conspiracy Land. Yezzer out of Louisville, Kentucky. Brian Leonard, bass guitar. Nick Stinnett, drums. Joe Boyer, bass guitar.
Very good.
Thank you,
All
Frank.
right.
Awesome. Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Normally we'd go to a classic album, but right now we're going to go to a riff because
Oh.
the last episode you guys got all macho on me and named the
What?
riff. You knew the riff right away.
Yeah, heck yeah. Is it
Jerry's got the white man overbite going on.
That's right. And I got a real one too.
Okay, that was YMCA.
YMCA.
Wow. The,
Isn't that
Village
funny on a
People.
rock show?
Yeah, on a rock show. That's right.
I never get a riff, folks, on Conspiracy Land. As soon as he played that, I knew it.
It's all rock and roll.
Oh, there you go.
Jim tell it.
May
Let Jim
sound
tell it. It's
funny,
all
but
rock
it's,
and roll.
yeah,
All rock and
That's
roll.
it.
All rock and roll based.
Yeah.
that's it.
Now, this episode, the riff, it's a little different. It's an artist that you know the album. You may not know the song off the top of your head, but it goes like this. Sound familiar?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, we'll leave that at that because that is our riff. And if you can name that riff, put it down in the comments. And it's on a very popular album. You've heard it. You probably had it at one time, either 8-track cassette or possibly even on the LP. But, that was not one of that artist's main hits. It's just on the record. Because if I played any of the hits, you'd say,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
There's Joe Walsh, or whatever, whoever. So, all right. Now let's move forward. I've got some music. We'll do my band, and then we're going to talk about that classic album before we talk about Jim's band, because we got a lot to talk about when we get to the classic album.
Yeah.
So I'm presenting a band by the name of Trash Island. And doesn't that just sound like the kind of music I'd listen to, right? You think of, you may be wrong. This is surf rock, garage rock. They're out of New Jersey, and they've got a brand new EP out called Hot Rod Sunset. And the song I'm going to play is Freaks from Planet Vegas. And the band members consist of Simon L. Segundo on guitar, Bobby Bellavista on bass and guitars and vocals, and Captain Tim on drums. Now, some of the other musicians that helped out on this was David Ross on the organ, Mike Castellucci on trumpet, and Wicket provided barks and growls. Now, they may not be on this song, but they're on this EP, Hot Rod Sunset. But the song I'm going to play for you is Freaks from Planet Vegas. And it goes like this.
Keep your hands on the wheel and the pedal to the floor. Come sundown, the freaks on these streets.
All right, there's Trash Island with
Wow.
Freaks from Planet Vegas. Jim, you were doing the Batusi while that was playing. What did you think?
I
Yeah.
liked it.
Yeah.
Right up my alley. Right. I totally dig everything about that. Love the bass part.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Great bass line.
Yeah.
Great bass tone.
Lots of juicy reverb.
Yep.
Lots of juicy reverb. Just enough space in the right spots. Love the little drum break. Thought that was fantastic.
Yeah.
That whole kind of outro just leading up to the drum break and then the finish. And
Yeah. Jerry, what'd you think?
Love it. Again, like I said, baseline, and folks on Conspiracy Land during the tune, I was telling Frank and Jim, that just reminds me of that movie Sin City with like the soundtrack from the Safaris
Yeah.
getting commingled.
Right.
I love it. That was great. That was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
A
don't know
lot
what
of
to
fun.
say. Yeah.
Unfortunately, when I reached out to them to play, they got back to me and they said, hey, well, if this show airs before May 6th, let everybody know we're going to be playing at Otto's Shrunken Head in New York City. And I thought, that would have been perfect. Otto's Shrunken Head.
Of course.
Apparently they had a show there over the weekend and it went real
Shoot.
well.
Shoot.
Hopefully
Sorry
they
you
get back
missed
to me
it.
and let me know.
Yeah.
But yeah, they'll be playing around in the East Coast area there. So check them out. That is Trash Island.
That
And
sounded great. Yeah.
I'll put they have a link to all their links. I'll put that on our YouTube page so you can click right to it, go to all their fun stuff and check them out.
Hmm.
A couple of different releases on Bandcamp as well. So Trash Island.
Trash Island. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
All right. Different format for our classic album. We had Jim pick Motley Crue's Too Fast for Love.
Too Fast for Love.
Yes. And while doing that, what we're going to do, we'll talk about the album a little bit, and then we'll each talk about our least favorite tune and then our favorite tune off the album. And Jim, why don't you tell us a little bit about Motley Crue's Too Fast for Love?
Okay. Well, as you guys know, 1981, Leather Records. They released 900 copies overall. I'm fortunate to have one of those.
Yeah.
On leather with the UR, right?
Yes.
Wow, Jaime.
Later picked up by Elektra, obviously, I think 1982. They re-recorded and remixed the songs.
Ruined.
Under the supervision of Roy Thomas Baker.
Yeah.
And I told you that story about being at the Stormer party and Tommy was playing like the rough mixes and I was like, what the heck did they do to it?
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Not good. Anyway, I was like, what's with that cowbell just ringing over the top of everything?
Bless your heart, Jaime. I got it circled in red ink on one of these tunes when it's my turn. Cowbell.
So when they re-released it, they took out the intro, I believe, to On With the Show.
I think so.
And completely took out Stick to Your Guns.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah.
I thought the album was perfect as it was. I think they could have just released it as is. I don't think they needed to really do anything with it. It was, I don't know.
The original was engineered by Michael Wagner, who is very famous in the LA scene.
Sure.
Great White, Doc, and all those guys. And the original album was so raw and energetic, even with the cowbell. It sounded like you were at a live show when you listened to that record.
I thought the mix was much better, personally.
The first
On
one,
the
right?
original?
Jaime? Yeah.
Yeah, the original.
Yeah.
I thought the mix was good. I
Yeah.
thought it was engineered well. I thought it was mixed well.
Same
And like
here.
you said, just amazing energy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that.
I loved it the minute I put it on. And I really didn't know anything about him. I told you guys the story about who was our history teacher. He was the baseball coach, Coach Remkus.
Remkus. Yeah.
Oh,
But
Remkus, yeah.
Right. So in our class, he used to always call us the Motley Crue.
Right.
And I always used to think, I'm going to start a band called Motley Crue. And then I opened up the paper and I saw this band Motley Crue was playing at Pookie's in Pasadena. And I was like, well, I guess that's
They beat me to it.
Yeah,
they
maybe to it.
beat me to the punch, right? And so then I saw the album at Music Plus. I was like, holy cat, they have a record out. So I just bought it. I get it home and I'm looking at the back and I'm like, holy cat, that looks like Vince Warden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, that's Tommy Bass.
Yep.
For sure. Local boys.
Right. So Vince was a couple years ahead of us in high school, and I think Tommy had a year on us, maybe.
Yeah.
Went to the
The
Royal
posing.
Oak,
Yeah.
our rival high school, but
The
he
rival high school. Yeah.
used to play our high school all the time. with a
I
band
remember
called
him being
Just
at sock
for Fun.
hops. Yeah. Yeah. And Sweet 19. I think
Sweet
he was in a
19,
band. Yeah.
he was in a band called Dealer, and anyway, and then hooked up with Nikki Sixx, and the rest is history, I guess.
Right.
And then they got Vince to join the band.
And this album was made 6 months after they actually played their first gig.
Which is pretty amazing if you
First,
think
yeah,
about
That
6 months
is-
after
that
playing
is.
the Troubadour for the first time, I think it was, or maybe the Whiskey. They put the money together to get this record put together. But you listen to their stories, and I'm sure it's true. They weren't paying for rent. All the groupies were. So
You can stay here.
So they say,
yeah, they
right?
were saving their money somewhere. I don't think any
Yeah.
of them held any jobs. So, I don't know.
Yeah, no idea. And Nikki had been in London, and I can't remember if he was kicked out of London or what the deal was, but
I bet you it's because he didn't know how to play the bass, but that's another story for another time.
another story for another time. Anyway, should we talk about what our favorite song is?
Let's go with least favorite first, so we end on a high
Least
note.
favorite.
Yeah. So, Jim, can you really pick one?
No. There's not a song on here I really don't care for. Maybe nope.
No.
Really pick anything I don't like.
Wow.
On with the show, maybe. If I had to pick a least favorite one, maybe On with the Show.
Gotcha on that. I'm looking to see if that was even on. If I can find it. Can't even find On with the
Last
Show.
track. I think it was the last track, right?
No, on my thing here that I've got.
Oh,
So, I didn't mind this. I've got two that I wrote down, but we'll get to those. These were kind of corny lyrics on with the show,
Yeah.
but when you go back and look at this whole album, they're all pretty corny lyrics, because it was 80s style of music, and none of it really aged all that fantastic.
He was a big fan of the Sweet.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of why I liked him so much, because his writing style kind of reminded me of that. That kind of Mike Chapman, Nicky Chin kind of. The chorus doesn't even necessarily have anything to do with the verses, kind of thing sometimes. Right. And I think it was Too Fast for Love had an extended intro to it. That's what it was. Yeah, cutting off. So On with the Show, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Jerry, did you have a song on here that you didn't care for as much as the rest?
well, I never had this album. I remember hearing a couple tunes back in the day, and I agree with Jaime a lot. I don't have anyone that like pew, but I do have a least favorite.
Okay, let's hear it.
Which is still good, but I had Starry Eyes.
Starry Eyes.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
I put Yawn and great and great lead.
Right.
And again, this is not bad.
Right.
Folks out in Conspiracy Land, this is not bad.
Yeah.
But I would say it was my least favorite. Yeah. But it's still good. Well, that's the thing. Yeah.
What I liked about these guys is they this particular album, there's no effects. You know, they didn't.
Not really. I
It's
think
not-
one tune has like a little phaser where Tommy's drum goes through it, but
Yeah.
that's about it. Yeah.
But the majority of it is
Straight up.
guitar right into a Marshall, and
Yep.
that's what you get. And that's the kind of rock that I like. Bands like
Yep.
Riot, I love Riot, and they do the same thing. But not a bad song.
No, not a bad song. Just
Well, they had
of all of them. Yeah.
The interesting thing was they had like a very sort of heavy look, right?
Yeah,
But if you listen to the songs, they're really pop songs.
they were.
Wow.
They were. And one of my least favorites, and I'm going to say I had two. The very least favorite was Merry Go Round. And again,
That's repetitious.
just
Exactly. Exactly,
ridic-
Jaime.
Yeah, and this is where I say this is some lazy songwriting here. This, you know, it's just it could have been cut from the album instead of Stick to Your Guns, my opinion. You know, I think it kept it because it does have this slower intro, and then it kind
With acoustic. Yeah, it's lead and acoustic doing that little
But the singing isn't all that great, and
showing their
lyrics are
sensitive
just-
side. Yeah.
Yeah, no, didn't fit on the album to me. But like Jim said,
Repetitive.
Yes.
Absolutely, guys. So, yeah, on the revisit, I was like, oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
That's all he says.
But I don't have the same affinity for the album that you do, Jim. I don't think it aged well. I didn't think I liked it all that much when it first came out. I remember going to Greg's house because he had the Leather Records version, and I remember looking at the back, and I think it was Mick Mars. If you look at his picture, I thought it was like airbrushed in, either him or Vince's face. Don't even look real, you know. And I don't know if it's because it's emotion when they took it or what, but I remember both of us sitting there like, is that even a person? You can't.
Oh,
even-
they touched it up. If you look at Vince's picture, like all his hair
yeah,
is drawn in.
yeah, yeah, and it is so fake. It's just ridiculous. But okay, I did not. I bought the 40th anniversary version of it over there only because it's on colored vinyl. No,
Yeah,
other
of course.
reason.
Yeah.
So
Sitting in the corner.
well, I only brought it out for the show. I had to dig it out of some other albums,
Yeah.
but I own that and Dr. Feelgood, and that's it for Motley
I think
Crue.
Dr. Feelgood's the only one I had. Yeah.
A lot of people love Shout at the Devil. They say a super hard album and everything, and it fell flat for me as well. So never been a huge Motley fan. But
I like Shout at the Devil.
mhm.
It's a little uneven. There's better songs on it than other songs.
Right.
It's obviously got a much slicker production.
Yeah,
Yeah. Way more.
But for me, that was like the beginning of sort of the,
Decline.
I mean, obviously the drugs were taking hold, right? I mean,
Right.
everything after that, Theater of Pain,
Well, they
Girls,
pop
Girls, Girls
bands.
is not a great record.
Right.
Um,
Well,
you know, they were losing it, I think.
yeah.
Right. I mean, Dr. Feelgood is the slickest of all.
Mhm.
And they sold a gazillion of that, and rightly so.
That's
Right.
the one I have. Yeah.
Right. Which is, they probably needed a Bob Rock to come in and like get those guys under control, essentially.
Yeah.
Probably the beginning of sorting out their drug problems too. So
Could be. All right. Well, let's shift and go to our favorite tunes on this album. And Jim, where are you at with that?
Public Enemy #1.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. And it's funny is saw them live a couple times. The last time I saw them is when Tommy wasn't with them, and it was either Randy Castillo or that female that was drummer. I can't remember.
Oh.
But the Scorpions were the headliners, and they played a lot of these older songs, and it was a decent concert. I mean, Scorpions were slick, but this was a good show.
One of the best live bands I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Scorpions.
Exactly.
Absolutely tight and amazing show.
Yeah. And that's that strict German,
Yeah.
Tongue, baby.
Oh yeah, they ain't messing around.
Ain't messing around. German
No.
precision, right?
We're here
Yeah.
for a gig. Turn it up. Let's go.
There you go. All right, Jerry, what about you? You have a favorite on this album?
I had Public Enemy #1.
Okay, let's.
I
move a
mean,
little-
Public Enemy #1.
Sharp
Pound
one.
sign.
Pound
Pound
sign.
sign.
Oh, pound sign 1. No, I had Public Enemy #1.
Yeah.
And this is where I put in red ink the part where the cowbell comes in, and I put "Cowbell Ruined It." Is it supposed to be? Is it supposed to be a machine gun firing because he's a Public Enemy? I don't know. That cowbell just comes in the middle of something, and I'm like, "What the H?"
Yeah.
You know, I like my cowbell guys.
You
Red
had
ink. Cowbell ruined it.
had a bunch of 19 and 20-year-olds in the recording studio.
I just like all of a
Doing
sudden in the
what
middle,
they
ting 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 ting. What?
There you go. It's not even in rhythm when you listen
No,
to it.
it's not.
Yeah, it's slightly out.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's because of the delay.
That's
they
a
put-
jamming tune. That's a jamming tune until that comes in. I had
But
to.
You misstep when you try to play along to the cowbell.
You know, folks, my vehicle is digital and Bluetooth, so I'm like this. Then it comes in again. I'm like,
Oh no.
did I miss something? Why that's coming in? So I thought, oh, he's Public Enemy. He's John Dillinger. That's machine gun shooting at him. Well, they're not even in rhythm.
Nope. No.
I
Red
had
ink,
a-
folks. Red ink.
That's
Cowbell
hilarious.
ruined it.
Yeah, I had a hard time listening to the Electra version.
Yeah, I do
Oh.
too. Yeah. I went a different direction. I went with one of the songs that was left off the original leather
Oh.
versions.
Oh.
And this has always been one of my favorite Motley songs out of their whole catalog. I'm not, like I said, don't own any other thing other than the other two, but I've heard them all. Of course, they're all on iTunes. But
Sure.
Stick to Your Guns. And you talk
Yeah.
about cowbell, Jerry. Holy,
I don't mind the cowbell. You know I love it, but
love this rhythm, this riff. It's just one of my favorites. I don't know.
I kind of dig your scene, Frank. They left this off.
And I have a feeling it's because the way it was recorded, they couldn't fix it enough or re-record it enough. Who knows? So, and it
I
just
love
starts
cowbell,
galloping. Yeah.
I love the Cowbell in Ladies' Room by Kiss.
Yeah. So, and that's my favorite tune on Motley Crue's Too Fast for Love. Stick to Your Guns.
It's got that real galloping rhythm.
Yes.
This does.
I'm
sound
looking
good.
at that. So "Stick to Your Guns" ended up as a bonus track when they re
Right.
in 2003,
Excuse me.
Right.
and also they threw "Toast to the Town" on there,
Yes.
which not on the record. It was the B-side of the "Stick to Your Guns" single,
Single. Yeah.
which preceded the album. And if I had to pick my favorite Motley song, "Toast to the Town" would be
Yeah.
it.
See, isn't that
Ah,
something? Yeah.
Wow.
And
They could have put that on instead of On With the Show, or
yeah.
what was the other one? Starry Eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this got great riff too. You know, it is.
It was covered by Pretty Boy Floyd,
They've covered everything.
and they were. I'm trying to think who their main mover and shaker is, Steve something, but he was a huge Motley Crue fan and followed their kind of pattern, and it paid off. But they covered it and put it on their first album, and I think their version is actually even better than the Crue's.
It probably is. His voice is even higher than Vince's, the singer for Pretty Boy Floyd. I bought one of their albums, Creatures something or other, but it's all Kiss covers. And
Really?
yeah,
Oh,
and because his voice
interesting.
is so high, it doesn't work because he sings a lot of the Gene songs and then some of the Paul songs. But that's another band, local LA band that just never made it. They stuck it on the strip, I guess. I don't know what happened. They're in a void.
they just played recently here in LA.
Yeah.
I saw that on something recently, guys.
And,
Yeah.
I just out of curiosity, I kind of came close to going to see him
Mhm.
for the heck of it, and I ended up not doing it. But I think other than the bass player, it's all the original guys.
Could be.
Maybe they have a new guy on guitar that's kind of subbed in, but
I don't know what happens with it when a band doesn't make it like that, because like I said, they travel and they play small clubs here and there, but it can't be enough to make a living, you know?
yeah, I don't know. They tour Europe and things like that, and
Yeah.
so you never know what like doing those shows is pulling in for
Yeah.
'em.
Yeah.
So it's a rough life. I mean, talk to some friends who play in bands from the 80s and 90s, and they don't own their home. They've made a choice to live in apartments, drive older cars, and that's the sacrifice they've made for the love of
Yeah.
their music.
The craft.
And,
Yep.
Wow. My hat's off to you, but at the same time, I couldn't do
More
that.
power to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of people that kind of went through it. I'm thinking of my buddy had a friend who was playing with Dio.
Mhm.
Trying to remember who it was, but he told him like he's all like, when we play here, we play like kind of smaller venues.
Yeah.
He's all we headline festivals in South America,
Right.
right? 200,000 people we're playing to. He goes, we come back here and we play to 10,000.
Star Club. Yeah.
They're lucky if that. Yeah.
If that, right? It was a
Yeah.
rough time for hard rock and metal there for a
Yeah.
while.
I said, as expensive as it is to go to a show, a lot of people just cannot afford, to go, or they choose to put their harder money on different entertainment nowadays.
That's the
There's
thing.
So much stuff out there.
Nailed it, Frank. Nailed it.
Okay, well, that's Motley Crue's "Too Fast for Love." You have anything you want to say about this album? I don't want anyone coming back and saying, "God, you guys didn't even talk about it." Nikki
Yeah, I don't know.
Sixx, Mick
I
Is there
think it was
anything
a
else
great-
to say?
right?
Oh, thank you, Frank, for saying that name.
Uh-huh.
Guys, with this guitar on this debut, are the crew without Mick Mars?
No,
On this? No, Mick Mars is on this.
no, but
No, I said, do they make it without this guitar work?
Oh, do they make it?
his
Yes.
guitar sound was so important.
Very unique,
to
and he
this.
Frank, thank you so much for bringing up Mick Mars.
Yeah.
On the re-listen, I never owned this, but sitting down and going through it and enjoying it. Is Motley Crue without this guy playing lead?
They're I think a good example of
Oh, you're right, Frank.
all
Thank you.
parts.
Thank you for that, Frank.
Some
Thank
is
you.
greater than the parts.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, thank you,
I
Frank.
agree with
I
that.
was gonna, yeah.
because each
You could tell. Every riff, every tune, everything is Mick Mars. It's like, oh yeah.
now the
Lead
band
riffs.
wouldn't be
melody.
the same without Nikki Sixx's lyrics, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, Vince Neil, whether you like his singing or not, is very unique,
Got a unique voice.
And it fits the
fit.
band.
Tommy is a banging drummer,
Yeah, he is.
No
slouch.
So for that band, those four individuals
Have to be in
made
it.
it. Now, I will
Yep.
say, if you go back after Vince left and listen to the self-titled Motley Crue album, and I
With
just
Corabi?
did that
Yeah.
the other day, with John Corabi.
Yeah.
It's not the same music. It's not the same band. It's not the same vibe. And it would have never made it, I hate to say, as much as I love John Corabi's voice.
Yeah.
It wasn't classic.
It wasn't
Motley
Crue. It wasn't Crue.
I don't know. Smoke the Sky was a pretty rocking song.
Go back and listen to the full album, though.
No, not as a full album. It didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't
But
work.
yeah,
all
they
that
had
well.
a few rockers on there, but
Yeah.
they're also, again, some stinkers. But John Corabi, with his guitar playing, also added an extra texture and layer to that
Yeah.
band that wasn't there before, but it wasn't the same band.
Right. Well, I'm trying to think what the other single was. Was it Hooligan's Holiday?
Hooligan's Holiday was the hit.
Just was it a hit? I didn't even think it was that
Well,
great a song.
Thanks to MTV, it was on every third video for a while,
Yeah.
and that's a lot
I
of
didn't
the
think it was
bands-
great.
That's the whole thing. Jerry is absolutely right. No, they are not the same band without any one of those members. and people are saying that today while they go see him live, whether it's live or Memorex. John 5 is probably
Yeah.
a better musician than all of them put together.
Oh yeah.
But he doesn't really fit the band in the style that from what they came up with.
Yeah,
You know?
if they want to really prove it, Motley Crue, this is the challenge from Jerry, the second J, in the JFJ Conspiracy Podcast, where the Shop Talk is Rock. Do a new studio album with John 5.
Then they are recording
Are
as we
they?
speak. Yes.
Okay, then I will hold judgment.
Yeah. And it'll come out and it'll sell a gazillion copies, and then all the
And
Mick
I'll buy
Mars
it.
fans will say it's
I
shit.
want to find out.
guarantee
I
you.
want to find out. I want to find out. I'll find out. I want to find out. Yep.
There it is.
And I'm a John 5 fan. Don't get me wrong. But it's not
Me,
gonna be the
same here.
same.
Yeah. No.
Not
Let's
gonna be
see.
the same.
Let's see.
All right. Jim, anything else?
No,
that,
I think we've said everything there is to say.
Pretty much. Yeah.
All right. I've got an album. Don't know how Jerry's going to feel about it. I know Jim's going to love it. We'll talk about that in a minute. Nothing. It's just a hot topic is all I'm going to say. And we'll get to that in just a little bit. So
You're gonna leave it at the end?
until after you play your band, then we'll pick it and then we'll show it.
Okay. Well, there it is. I've got something new from Red on Red Records. This is Justine and the Unclean.
I like that. Rhymes good, don't it?
I like that too. Very good. Justine and the Unclean are Justine Kovalt, vocals and guitars, Janet Egan King on bass and vocals, Charles Hanson on guitar, and Jim Janota on drums. The song we're going to hear is called The Chasm. And this is the lead-off single to their new album, which is coming out next month, The Signal Light. So I think you guys are going to like this one. So go ahead and drop the needle in the groove, Frank.
I hear the humming of the bees on a warm summer day, but they've taken down the trees and they've taken you away from me. There's a chasm, there's a breach. I can see him, but I can't reach. There's a chasm, a deep crevasse, a thunder
All right, there's Justine and the Unclean with the Chasm. Correct?
Correct.
What's a chasm?
What's a chasm?
A gaping void.
A great
Like
divide.
like Robbie Knievel jumped the Grand Canyon chasm.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
CHASM. Never heard of it.
Yeah, it has a
Okay.
silent
No?
H. Yeah, it's one of
Oh,
those.
no.
You never heard of chasm?
I am a man
Oh,
of
boy.
limited vocabulary. Does that sound familiar?
Yes, it does. And then after I posted that, I kind of kicked myself. I said, what I should have said is I'm a man of limited adjectives.
There you go. All right. No, I never heard that. It's all good. But that's not the important thing. The important thing is that's a rocking song.
Absolutely.
all
Right
right.
out of the gate.
3
Yeah.
minutes
Wow.
and 10 seconds.
Very good.
A little bit long, Jaime, but full
And
of
since-
joy.
Since we
Full of
talked
joy.
about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame,
Ah,
there's no doubt that's rock and roll.
that's rock and roll.
Absolutely.
That wasn't
is-
country. That wasn't Duran
No.
Duran. That was rock and
No,
roll.
that wasn't NWA.
I love that guitar solo.
That's fantastic, Jaime.
Love them fuzzy rhythm guitars. Just fantastic all the way around.
Just great dynamics on the drums.
Yeah,
Gosh,
everything.
fantastic.
And it always, when I hear stuff like this and not knowing who this band is, and the same thing with Trash Island and Yezzer, I always wonder, okay, did they go into a studio and do this, or was this done in their garage on a computer? How? Because these people today are just making some fantastic music.
I believe this was done in a studio.
Ah,
So interesting little
This is rocking.
tidbit about Justine and the Unclean. Justine
Wow.
is the person who runs Red on Red Records.
son of a gun. Okay.
Right. And
Ooh.
is finally getting around to putting out her own records. She's been so
Keep
busy
going.
with work on everybody else
Yeah.
Right.
that finally she got a little time to get into the studio and pull this together. And
Well, cheers to Justine, because that is
Man.
I know,
Yes.
great
Good tune.
lead off track. That's
Yeah.
all I got to say.
fantastic.
Looking forward to the rest of the album.
Cool. I like that.
So thanks,
Okay.
Justine, for sending that.
Yes.
That's happening.
That'll
Justine
work.
and the Unclean.
Yes, all of it.
Rocking.
I hope they get their act together.
Oh,
No. Justine and the Unclean. My goodness. Okay. Let's
Oh.
move forward now. The classic album. I don't know how classic it is. You may disagree, but it's an album of topic. And it's something that we didn't talk about, but we're going to in a few minutes. But the album, and Jerry's going to have to listen to it. And I want to give it a good listen because apparently there's an expanded version. But I want to talk about the 3 o'clock. Wrote.
Dang.
So the hoedown.
I keep mine handy.
Very good. Yeah, you got your sign. So, anyways, 3 o'clock. Was this an EP originally?
Yes.
Okay, so the expanded tunes make it an LP.
Yes. Well, it's
what's the name of it? So I can look it up.
Hoedown.
yeah, it's 9 songs. It's 4
Yeah.
songs
Baroque?
on one side,
Yes.
5 on the other side. I've got an original Frontier press.
Original,
I think it's
right.
like 5 songs.
Yeah, I think I've
So
got
they
one around
they
here.
added 4 more, which I think if I understood right at the Q&A they did, somehow this French label got a hold of like a demo, like the other 4 songs that appeared on there were never supposed to be
meant to be released.
released. They got a hold of it and just said, "Oh, look, here's some more 3 o'clock songs. We're just going to throw this on."
Yeah. Okay.
Uh,
There's
as
some
the
shady
French
stuff
as the
going on.
French tend to do.
Yeah.
So if I'm wrong, Jeff or Soraya, leave a comment and tell me I'm messed up.
And thank you for that tie-in because as you were letting me know not long ago, you went to the symposium of the 3 o'clock talking about the release of the album.
Yes.
And while you were there, Jeff and Soraya made mention that they want to do another show and they want to do something on Def Leppard.
Well, Soraya said she wasn't opposed to doing Def Leppard, and I said, "Well, that's great. Frank hates Def Leppard, so let's
That would be
do that
likely.
one."
Yeah.
except hysteria. Except hysteria.
No.
Pure gold.
No,
Pure
first
gold.
album. First album.
Oh,
We
I
did
had
the
that.
first album.
I'm
Me
saying
and Greg
though,
L bought that. Yeah, me and Greg L heard that at the dairy.
yeah, that's the only one that
Went right out and bought it.
doesn't bother me. So,
You got to go back and listen to High and Dry. I'm telling you.
I love High and Dry too, but not as
Okay.
much. Yeah, it's a rocker record. The third record on.
You don't like Pyromania at all?
No. That's when they really got into that overproduced business. It's just too much, too many layers of everything.
I still think to this day, I think Photograph is one of their best songs. I think it's
Tell him, Jaime.
I think it's
I don't
I think
disagree.
it's just a great, solid,
It is.
well-written,
It's a good.
well-crafted tune.
No, I don't
Yeah.
disagree with you. I don't necessarily love it,
Yeah,
but
I
I,
just
don't disagree with you. It's a well-crafted tune.
and
I
I
think
like
it's,
them all.
I think I don't know. It's one of my favorite songs.
To me, they lost my flav when Mr. Clark passed away. Steve Clark passed away because I think I bought X or whatever it was called, X whatever, a couple albums after he passed, and it's just painful.
Well, it's not the same.
No, and I have all the other ones on Through the Night, Pyromania, yeah, and
Well,
just
I'll tell you what, guys. We
trying to
will
think of the
let
last one I bought. Yeah.
them pick an album. How about that?
No,
Who?
yeah. Well, I said let's do something Paisley, and Soraya said, "Well, I'm down to talk about some Def Leppard or whatever." But
Oh, bless her heart. Yeah,
I think letting them pick the record's fine.
You let them pick it. They can just bring it along. They can give us a forewarning if they want, but I'm all down for that. We're ready for a little
Absolutely.
cross-pollination here.
Heck yeah,
That's right.
Nice. So nice to finally meet them in person. It was great.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I-
I guess it was. That's right. I drive.
I thought you had met Jeff. I don't know why. And
Nope, never have.
Yeah.
all right, yeah. Why don't we just let them pick an album? They can let us know. Great to have them on, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good.
Okay.
So
Yep.
the next classic album, 3 o'clock, Baroque Hoedown.
Very good.
And like I said, what I remember of it, I liked it. I'm not like you in the sense of I love the 3 o'clock. I like some of their songs, but would I say they're up my top 10 or no, but throw them on the turntable every once in a while and give them a listen. That's all. That's all.
No, it's a solid record.
Cool. All right. Okay. From there, Jerry, you have anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Yes, sir, Jim and Frank, and folks out in Conspiracy Land, keep rocking. We appreciate you listening. We appreciate you watching. It's all out there. Tonight's show, you got Yezzer, you got Trash Island, and Justine and the Unclean. Rocking bands. We did the re-listen to Motley Crue's debut. It's out there, folks. It's Bandcamp, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube. It's everywhere, folks. We appreciate your support, so keep rocking. Thank you.
All right. I agree. I concur. Jim, what about you?
Yeah, I should add that Justine and the Unclean. Find that record or find that single on Bandcamp.
All right.
Just
I think
released.
if you go to
month,
Red
yeah.
on Red and you click on them, it takes you to Bandcamp. So I think that's kind of
Okay.
what they run their store out of. Other than that, if you made it this far, smash the like button, subscribe, ring the notification bell, slide into your DMs every 2 weeks, more or less smoothly.
Oh, I think that's
With-
pretty cool.
With no controversy.
No
Yeah.
controversy.
And email us, folks, at the JFJ show at gmail.com.
Very good.
Absolutely. And
Mhm.
check out Frank's CD pick of the day. It's always good.
Oh, yeah. Facebook loaded.
We're got 5 boxes to go. I don't know how long I'm going to continue this because I'm getting down to some real doozies. And and in some of these are from my mom's collection from when she passed away. I just brought the CDs and threw them in. And
Be great
Wow.
if there's a Willie Nelson and a
Oh.
Missy Elliott in there. Yeah.
yeah. Well, today
No,
it's
it's all good. And it's amazing how like,
I agree.
some
Music
days you
Hall
get
of
some
Fame.
like easy
Frank
matchups.
is exactly
and
right.
then other
Yeah.
days,
Oh, yeah. Sometimes.
not so
yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's no contest for anything. It's just
Right.
pass.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
but I have to warn you guys. I saw, embarrassed to be saying this. I saw Celine Dion. I saw Mariah Carey, and
Nothing wrong with that. Celine had
other-
her well,
I haven't listened to them, of course, but
Titanic soundtrack. She,
it's
yeah.
going to be interesting who
She
she
blew
goes up
up.
against when it comes out. You know?
Def Leppard, Hysteria
Yeah,
Right.
could be.
versus Celine Dion. You're gonna have a tough time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oof.
My heart will go on.
Yeah.
Versus Photograph. Yeah.
All right. Okay, Jim, why don't you take us on home?
The shop is closed.
All right.